Greetings and salutations, everyone. Here we are trying this for the second time. Now, I apologize that you're having to see me in lower resolution than you normally would have to see me. Rather than using my super cool camera here, we are just using the crappy one that comes as part of the laptop because the whole charging situation is not working. I don't know why. I think it has to do with weird plugs, but such is life. I am talking to you guys here. It is Saturday morning my time. I am in Singapore. I came here for the Web3 Connect and the Token 2049 end of things to connect with some of our partners in the space and to speak. I was yesterday. I spent a little bit of time. I emceed a hackathon, which is really cool. 12 different projects at Web3 Connect went really well. Had a lot of fun with that. And then later in the evening, or later in the afternoon, I guess, I sat on a panel with a few different people talking about Web3 gaming and the future of Web3 gaming, and that was a ton of fun. My favorite part about coming to these sorts of events is being able to meet up with everybody and learn sort of the stories, take pictures with people, connect with all of our different partners, and to really dig into what's going on in the space. And even though it's a quote unquote bear market right now. Um, there's just so much building happening, and it's super, super, super exciting. And cool thing yesterday that I learned is that we got a nifty little award here. I don't know if you guys can see this. This is from the Huobi After Party at Token 2049, and it is the Best Project Partner Award for Gala Games. It's very shiny and very heavy, so I will get to add that. I guess it means that I'm probably going to have to check a bag because I don't think I can, go with a gigantic chunk of stone and bronze as I go through all of the various airport things over the next few weeks in Manila and Bangkok. So, with that in mind, I'm just going to dive straight into the stream. And fortunately, we're not going to have a problem today with the camera running out of batteries because again, it's just in the laptop and that's plugged in and that seems to be charging fine. So I think we should be good. Couple Oh, and Paul is telling me that there is a little bit of an audio desync, but that is what we have. So sorry about that. Okay, couple ecosystem updates. The first ecosystem update is that we are leaning in pretty heavily right now. I think I got to this yesterday into the YouTube Shorts and TikTok side of content. I actually had some cool meetings with some of the people at TikTok yesterday. And so you're going to be seeing a lot more short form content from us across the gamut. So a lot of short form content talking about our games, short form content talking about the rest of the ecosystem. And then there's also going to be a bunch of I'm supposed to do a bunch of reaction content. So you're going to see me doing a lot of TikTok things that do not include dancing. There will be no dancing from me. I'm sorry, Jaehoon. I am deeply saddened to have to tell you that I will not do TikTok dances. So links and more information for these will come and you will see them in the Discord. Uh, Update for spider tanks, leaning into the game updates. And I think I have to do this. No, other way, Paul. There we go. I can do the over the shoulder thing. I have to like get a little bit of a lean in here. There are huge updates for patch 1.4.0. Among other things, the patch brings drop pods, play and earn view v2, which is going to give you a lot more information on your rewards and why you got them, a new reporting system, a new kill feed notification, free cam. This is super cool, and in fact I think we should do a little bit of a competition around this because free cam allows people who are spectating in exhibition matches to fly around and navigate the camera however they want on the battlefield. um, I think that we should do a little bit of a content creation contest on that. That would actually be some really cool short form content. So we could post people's really cool kills and things like that. Lots of different balance adjustments. There was also a hot fix that was applied to correct a few bugs. Not going to go into each of those, but that's something that is good, and it's always nice to be able to have. What was that, Paul? A map lighting fix. There's a map lighting fix as well. I am told. That is it's always good to have a partner like Game Media who helps to work and build things out. Okay, so we've got a few other updates for different games here, and then we've got a really cool interview, which I didn't do. It was one of those interviews that Jay Hoon, who you guys are going to be seeing a lot more of in the future, was able to step in and help with because I was, stuck on a plane or something. Update for Tweety. There was a game update and stream, I think the day before yesterday now. Gameplay is happening in the background during the stream, so check that out. We've got a bunch of cool media art files and a Daryl Dixon spinoff show that I believe that we are talking about here. So you guys can see some of that. A lot of this stuff has been posted in channel, so it's a good thing to be able to check it out. I'll let those run through. Man, I just absolutely love their art. And those of you who are new, please come and join our Discord at galagames.chat. Usually we have much higher production values than this. But due to the fact that I am traveling right now and don't have a studio that comes with me and just a little tiny laptop, this is a little bit of what we've got to go. And make sure that you also like and subscribe and share this with your friends. Man, the world is just looking so cool when they build this all out. Is there a way we can make those ones really big, Paul? They're like really pointlessly tiny over my shoulder. Okay. They're in the Discord for people to watch apparently, but I think that they're super neat. Okay, then jumping on from there, update on Legacy. Legacy is wrapping up the final bits and pieces of Gala chain integration. They're heads down on QA, as are we on our side, and there will be a lot more information coming soon. This is one of those ones that people have been asking for updates for a really long time, and I've been telling you that I will update you guys as soon as I possibly can. I have been given permission to say those things. So there will be a lot more information coming very soon. So definitely pay attention there. Uh, Townstar. There was no AMA earlier today. As you guys know, I was going to announce that there wasn't going to be one, but that was yesterday. For the first time in a long time, the AMA has been pushed back. There's a bunch of really interesting, quite giant changes that are coming, and so I think that they want to get everything in place before they start talking about them. We will keep you updated as more information about Townstar comes in, and please keep your eye on Discord because some of these changes are pretty big. I don't know if Benefactor has gotten into Discord and started talking about some of them yet, but I'm assuming that will probably happen pretty soon. Champions Arena, the season 3 start is going to be on the 20th, and on the 27th, Battle Pass for season 2 with a new champion will be available. So I'm planning on getting that because I absolutely love getting the new champions, and I think that everybody else should take a look at that as well. Now for Echoes of Empire, and we're gonna talk about some more of this stuff. I'm just getting through the just a quick run through of all of the different information. For Echoes of Empire, there's some cool art to share, including some concepts of the royal ships and a cool celestial claim GIF. That's so cool looking. The game has been delayed from the announced date due to the busy month of October. And how do I say this? I was having this whole conversation with the part of the game team about some of these things because October's a really busy month, but you guys don't necessarily know it's a really busy month yet. But you will learn that it is shortly. So this may be one of those things that makes sense in retrospect for you, but right now seems like, oh gosh, they're just pushing this thing back. So it's not that. There's a lot going on. There's a fireside chat on Thursday, September 21st at 12 p.m. Pacific, I assume. So pay special attention to that. in the Echoes of Empire Discord, which you guys should join as well. And I think we can get a link to that Discord in the show notes underneath this. Okay. So in terms of like formalized, these are the game updates. What nice. If you can put it back up, that's okay. For Town Crush, we have an interview with the Crusher in Chief himself, Warren Marshall. So I'm going to let this interview run, and then I'm going to be back, and we're going to do a bunch of AMA questions. So we're going to let that one run, and I will see you guys soon. I'll be in Discord.
Hey, Gala community. Thank you so much for the introduction, Jason. Just to reiterate, my name is Jay Hoon, and I am a strategist here at Gala. I am so excited to have Warren Marshall here with us, the creator of Town Crush. How are you doing, Warren?
I'm doing great today. Thank you.
Nice. Okay, well, could you provide us with some background into your game development history?
Yeah, one of the things I'm often criticized about is I undersell myself, but this will probably be another example of that. I've been making games professionally for a couple decades now. I started out back in 98 at Legend Entertainment doing the Wheel of Time game. Spent 15 to 16 years at Epic Games after that. Worked on Unreal Tournament and Gears of War and Fortnite, and spent a couple years being the primary maintainer of the Unreal editor. So I had a lot of fun there. After that, spent 5 or 6 years freelancing on various games like PUBG and We Happy Few. And then I kind of decided it was time to get like an actual job again, and that's kind of where I landed with Gala for a couple of years.
Nice. Wow.
I'm doing this.
That's awesome. I love PUBG, by the way. That's awesome. You have a great great history of game development work. It's super nice to hear that, man. Thank you for sharing that information. You should definitely not undersell yourself. So what made you want to make a match 3 style game fully on blockchain? That's a pretty interesting choice.
Yeah, it was kind of fallout from we had an all hands meeting with the company, and the CEO mentioned we should have a match 3 game. He just kind of said like an aside. And a couple of us kind of picked it up and we're like, that is kind of a fun idea. And we sort of skunkworksed it in the background. And I got a prototype together and showed it to him and other people. And everyone really liked it. And we're like, yeah, let's go ahead. Let's try to make this a thing. That's kind of how it launched.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely think it's a very engaging game. So really excited to see it launch. So what was the decision to make Townstar your first theme?
Well, in reality, that was kind of a convergence of convenience. I'm not quite sure how to say it. At the time, I was art directing Townstar. Yeah. And so when we started doing this prototype, I was like, well, match 3 games need some kind of a cohesive world, some kind of a thing to hold them together, sort of thing. And I'm like, well, we have Townstar. It's got all kinds of interesting characters. We've got the farming meta going on in there. And so it just seemed natural just to use those characters at least to get the game stood up. But as development progressed, it was like, actually, this is pretty cool, and it works out really nice because the 2D art, like the rendered stuff for Townstar, is really good. And so we're like, yeah, this art looks great. We could slap that right into a match 3, get some additional stuff done, add some effects, and it'll look great. So that's kind of how it came around to that.
Nice. So I'm guessing you're a fan of Townstar, right?
Yeah, well, I worked on it for a long time, for like a year and a bit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So what was it like developing on Gala Chain?
Well, honestly, at the time, I mean, we kind of had like an early preview version of Gala Chain. Yeah. And from my end, it really wasn't all that much. It was me setting up the hooks in the game engine, and then a couple engineers from Gala jumped in and they filled in the meat and potatoes of it and got it going. But it was all very painless. Like, it was great. Nice. And the biggest compliment I can pull out of that era that I remember from the public playtests was there were people in the Discord who were asking, "Yeah, the game's great, but when is it going to be on Gala Chain? When are we going to, you'll see that integration?" And we're like, "It's on Gala Chain now."
So people didn't even realize that's how smooth it was, right?
Transparent. People were just like, "Oh, it is?
Wow.
Okay, great." Yeah.
No, that's super exciting to hear, man. Cool. Well, talking kind of more about the game, right? What is the current status of the game? Can we have any updates on that?
Current status of the game is once we got this deal in place for me to move it forward again, I decided that I was going to move to the new version of the Godot engine. And rather than port the old stuff, I just sort of started over again. I know so much more about the engine. I know so much more about programming as a personal engineer, like software engineer.
Yeah.
And it just makes more sense just to write it over again. But the good news is that it is basically playing again. It's missing a bunch of features, but I'm adding more and more every day.
Nice. Super cool for sure. Thanks for sharing. And is there any time frame on a play test? Because it's not playable at the moment, right?
Not by outside people. They wouldn't have a good time yet.
Got you. Yeah, no worries. And one more thing, our community loves leaks. Is there any way we could get some art leaks into our community?
It's entirely possible. I do plan to on the Discord.
Yes.
People who are interested in this game should go to the Discord and go to the roles channel and pick up the Town Crush roles, because I am going to start posting development logs and little updates and stuff like that. So, which will include things like those art leaks you mentioned and little gameplay movies and whatever else strikes me.
Super exciting. So, to the community, make sure you check out galagames.chat so you can see all of this exciting updates and art leaks that could happen. What's the next short-term plan?
Next short-term plan is probably, it's kind of all hands on deck to get the game playable again, like get it back to parity where it was.
Yeah.
And adding, the additional features that I want to add. There's a bunch of things I'm changing around internally. Short-term is just to work on that with a rough eye towards getting some sort of an MVP, like a minimal viable product for people to actually play.
Yeah.
But I want to tie that into some other ideas I don't want to talk about yet.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got some secrets. No, that's coming out soon, right? So what's the long-term plan of all of this?
Well, the long-term, to get the game out and get it sustainable and get it so people actually enjoy playing it, keep coming back to it, that kind of stuff, that retention, and figuring out how that works with a very small studio.
Makes super sense. And I guess this kind of plays on the last question, because this will be a long-term goal or just a goal in general. But how do we bring more players to the game? Do we have any plans in terms of user acquisition?
Well, yeah, I have been thinking a lot about that, and I think probably these are all kind of loose thoughts in my head, but it's kind of like maybe thinking about the game is like a web 2.5 type thing, moving towards using the blockchain, having some NFT integration, but not completely pushing web3 stuff. And that's where you can hopefully scoop up the people who already love Candy Crush and even Meow Match, and other games like that, and just scoop them into the Town Crush ecosystem, and then start to evolve it from there. If you want to get more crypto based.
No, that makes sense. And the goal is always to just make something entertaining that anybody can play at the end of the day, right?
Right. And the goal is to have them have fun first and then worry about the other stuff.
Exactly, right? Because not everybody might be into the technology, but as they play, they'll soon see how this type of technology can help improve their gameplay, help improve their user relationship to the game, right? So definitely excited to see all the ways we kind of plan that out. And on that subject too, I really am in belief that it's all about engaging kind of the base that we already have, right? And the more engaged they are, the more users will kind of see the movement and join on. So I'm really excited to see ways we can explore feeding the fans of the community.
Yeah, I think the more transparent you can make the tech, the better, because nobody the vast majority of people don't want to deal with what's a blockchain. They don't even know what a blockchain is, right?
Exactly.
So it's best to get them having fun with the game they enjoy and slowly introduce concepts over time.
Makes a lot of sense. That's good. Yeah, that's a good plan. So appreciate you sharing that. How can the community support you? How can the Gala community support you?
Well, pick up that role, like I mentioned earlier, and follow the Discord channel. There will be more stuff on that front coming up, but I'm not quite sure what it looks like yet. But just ways to support the project, ways to help move it forward, ways to be involved early, that kind of stuff. So nothing concrete yet, but I am thinking about it.
Sounds good. And are we going to potentially have a mobile app version of this game, like Champions Arena?
Yeah, that is my goal.
Got you.
The original Town Crush ran in a HTML5 export, like it ran on a web page.
Yeah.
Which allowed it to load into all the devices and stuff, but it couldn't do anything natively. Like a web application running on iOS can't access the file system. It can't do anything interesting because they sandbox it, obviously. So
makes sense.
My goal is to have native apps for all the various platforms. That might be ambitious. We'll see how it goes, but that's what I want to do. Yeah.
No, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. It's a very kind of simple, easy to fun game. I think an app would make a lot of sense for it. So
for sure.
Really looking forward to seeing that. And so we kind of talked, I guess, about some of the game updates being in like on the Discord, but is there any other place where people can find info about the game updates posted? Is it just Discord, or is there another place they can go?
It's just Discord right now. The game is just me heads down, working on it. But yeah, there probably will be a website stood up eventually because I want to have a place to host leaderboards and things like that in the end.
Nice. Sounds good. Well, like we were saying, make sure you guys check out the Discord, galagames.chat. And once again, appreciate this interview, Warren. Really informative and helpful to kind of understand your story and understand the roadmap of how this game will turn out to be. So everybody, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Remember, as a Web3 community, it's all about growing together. So let's make sure we support Warren and Town Crush. Thank you so much, Warren.
Thank you.
Hey guys, welcome back, and great job, Hoon. That was a fantastic, fantastic interview, and nice to see you again on there, Warren. I'm sorry I wasn't able to make that interview myself, but again, I was stuck on a plane, I think. So for the next half hour and a bit or so, I'm just gonna hit AMA questions until people are out of them. So if you guys have any questions that you would like to ask, go ahead and drop them in either the Gala Gold channel, that's where they will get priority viewing and response, or even just as a YouTube comment. And if I run out of stuff to look at in Gala Gold, then I'm going to pop over to YouTube and answer some questions there. So let's see here, everybody. Oh, and one other thing. I just want to give a shout out to this Ciara Sun has written a book called The Rise of the Metaverse, and it's pretty cool. I dig what she is working on over there at C Squared, and it's nice to have people like her in this industry because they people like her what make Web3 what it should be, and I think that it's fantastic. Got a question from Subspace rep implementation status. Everything is going fairly well there, as far as I know. The single sign-on build-in is due to come online for early next week, I believe. It will be used pretty heavily at Philippines Blockchain Week, so there's going to be a bunch of competitions. There's going to be a bunch of other interesting things there that involve rep and involve people using rep to sort of explore the Philippines Blockchain Week entire location. And so you're going to see a lot of that. So let me see. Get some other questions here. Current plans for Grit. This is from Zirhen. We are waiting for the team from Grit to decide they would like to implement some of the changes that need to be made. So right now it's a little bit just kind of waiting for them. Subspace, can I put the info for the book in here? I will link to the book on Twitter. Tofu asks, can we get Vox updates? I do not have a Vox update. I get updates from Vox typically after the rest of the community does, because I drop into Discord and I hear about them there. So I would love more information on Vox, but I currently do not have that. Let's go look up, see what else we have here. It's always nice to drop into the Gala Gold channel and start talking to people in the morning. Um, Virtual is off to get spray tanned. Well done. And let's see, what other questions do we got? Any impact from the changes for Unity for charging devs? Are all our games on UE? No, they're not all on UE. Some of them are, some of them aren't. As far as I know, there's no major changes that have to be made there. Subspace, subspace. I will put it into the Gala Gold as well. Let's see. And Eric, I'm seeing your messages on Slack, but I am currently doing doing a live stream, so I will have to get to those in a little bit. Okay, let's go ahead and pop over to YouTube, see what we've got going over there. Where does Gala go from here? Where does Gala go from here? What do you mean by that, Zizat? We're continuing to build. We're continuing to create more awesome stuff all the time. So that's where Gala goes. It is a never-ending process of making and building cooler stuff. So come along for the ride. One of the things that I'm doing right now in Singapore is I'm connecting with people who are interested in building on Gala Chain. So if you are interested in building on Gala Chain, reach out to me. The best way to do this is you could probably reach me most easily on Twitter at BitBender Brink, and or you could drop into Discord and let us know that you're interested. We are building lists right now of people that we're going to begin white gloving into the platform. So if you would like to be on that list, please let us know. Steve just bought his first 5K Gala. Congratulations, Steve. Welcome aboard. And Family Man Farm Kids is being snarky, says he doesn't know anything about the coin. Yes, you do, man. Come on. I am talking from the future. That is true. Sorry about the voice, Tofu. And Rusty Shackelford appreciates the communication from the brand. I'm glad you appreciate it. I'm happy to be here to communicate with you guys. Okay, let's see. What other questions do people have? Any more games? Is it more games in development or finished product? There are both of those. There are more games in development. There are also finished products coming out. So yeah, definitely pay attention to that. You're going to see a lot more coming out here in the very, very near future. Rusty would like to know how building affects Gala, and we who own a piece, I believe is the question. So as people build out, as the ecosystem grows, as more people use Gala, across the board, as gas fees and as channels are set up that consume Gala and whatnot, the utility of that increases. And so that's only a good thing for everybody. So definitely watch that. As more people build into this ecosystem, I expect to see a greater network effect of users coming in. So you'll have more and more people who are coming in to build, bringing in with them user bases that once people are into the Gala chain ecosystem, it becomes infinitely easier for them to connect and work with other people and other games and projects within that ecosystem. So more people coming and building is better because it means that the user base is growing, and sometimes by leaps and bounds. So there is going to be a lot more news on this in the near future, but right now we are in the process of getting these people on board, and so that's going to be it's going to be fun to watch this happen. Dubstep Rod is patiently waiting for Eternal Paradox. Wait just a little bit longer. It's not going to be that much longer that you have to patiently wait. Is Mirandus or Grit ever coming back? I didn't get a chance to play. Yes, absolutely. Mirandus is coming back. I don't know why it wouldn't. And Grit, you could go play right now. It's on Epic, so check it out. There isn't as many people playing it as I think everybody would like, but that is what it is. Okay, let's see. Uh, Tofu wants to buy the jacket. So I'm going to tell you the story about the crypto stash jacket really quick because it's kind of funny. So I was in Los Angeles. It was when I was working on the Earl Sweatshirt thing with some of the people from Warner Music and Earl Sweatshirt's team. And I was there, and I reached out to Stash, and him and I have talked for a long time, and he's one of my favorite people in the space. And so I wanted to do a nice thing for him. I wanted to invite him to the concert so he could come and see Earl play and all of that. And I reached out and I sent him a message, and I'm like, "Hey man, what are you doing tonight?" I didn't want to like leak too much. I didn't really want to give him too much information because um, you know that's never a thing that is good to do. So I asked him what he was doing, and he's like, "Oh, well, I've got some plans." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, it's gonna invite you to come to this concert, and it's gonna be fun and all of that." And he's like, "Okay, well, I can change my plans." And then I got absolutely into the weeds with the rep integration and using rep to do the Earl Sweatshirt treasure hunt. And I didn't check my DMs. I didn't log into Discord and check my DMs. And so even though I invited him, I never actually sent him the information of where to go. Um, I never actually sent him the information on where to go. And he, when I finally remembered and reached out to him, he sounded really bummed. He was super gracious. He's like, "Oh no, it's cool, man. I understand." But I felt terrible. And so I wanted to do something nice for him. So I had that crypto stash jacket made and sent to him. So that is not able to be purchased anywhere. It is a one of one. BitBender is sorry he screwed up gift for crypto stash. So it cannot be purchased anywhere. I had it custom made just for him. Let's see. Subspace would like a leak. I've been leaking all over the place. Uh, Faust. So I had a very interesting conversation in Gala Gold today. And let me actually go back and maybe even just share it with you guys because we were talking about people having expectations and what those expectations are like in the blockchain space. And this is something I was talking about yesterday with some of the people here in Singapore as well. Because it's very interesting. Gala and in fact Web3 are one of the only places that you can actually go and you can drop into a Discord channel and you can have a conversation with leadership and you can express your concerns and frustrations. Okay, there are no other industries that you can really do this in. And this creates an expectation that you will always be heard and that you will always be listened to. And if there's ever a time where something doesn't go exactly the way that everybody wants, um, that it's people expect an immediate fix on things. And it's kind of interesting because if you were to take that logic and translate it across industries, like how many times have you gotten in a car, maybe you bought a new car and something's not quite right, something doesn't work, problem with the air filter, some stupid little maintenance issue. How many times have you purchased an item from even a fast food restaurant and it wasn't correctly constructed? Things go wrong all the time, but only in Web3 do you have a forum to come and complain about it. If something goes wrong, you don't get to drop into the Chevy forum and complain to the executives saying like, "Oh my God, this is terrible. How could you let a vehicle go out with a bad air filter?" As if that was ever a thing that any of the executives were like sitting around going like, "Oh yeah, let's ship it with the bad air filter." It's very interesting, and so that's a conversation that we had in Gala Gold this morning, and I think that LeFaust says. Um, my comment was this is the industry where I'm aware of where you can actually go and you can be heard and have communication with executives. And Lifao says it's not just the industry. This community, Gala, as the other projects, is the first time, as in the other projects, the first time you complained, you were banned. Uh, Granted, the other projects don't even believe in their own mission or products. Gala is an actual, real, and serious project. So, Lefaust, I appreciate you saying that. And yes, this is absolutely true. Um, let's see. I do not currently have. I do not currently have any information on Superior Smiling Monster. I'm sorry. And I don't have any information on the Gala headphones. I didn't even know that was a thing until people started asking me about it. Let's see. I'm going to bounce back over to YouTube really quick. Bien Ignacio, can you give any info on how Gala picked up Legends Reborn and how they will proceed from here? I cannot, because I do not know. I do not personally have that information. So I will, as soon as I find out. I know there's a whole conversation about wanting to uh, give this information to the community, and introduce the people who are doing the building and things like that. So that's going to be a thing that happens very, very soon. So yeah, I will definitely keep you guys updated. Hopefully by next week. And honestly, where am I going to be? Next week when we do this, I will be in Manila for Philippines Blockchain Week, where we're doing a whole ton of stuff there. So I think that will be a lot of fun. Family Man asks, is it fair to say that the Web3 model of interaction where customers have access to the developers is one of the major reasons that people have been willing to pay so much for nodes and NFTs? Maybe, but I kind of don't think so. I think that the reason, at least initially, that people were willing to spend is that people had a narrative that they themselves had created, that there was, potentially and you via play and earn or any other way, a potential upside there. um I don't think that that's a good way to look at the industry, and this is a really interesting conversation right now that is ongoing in people at places like Token 2049 here in Singapore. We're talking about this a lot because, people do still buy NFTs. Sometimes they buy expensive NFTs, sometimes they buy inexpensive NFTs, and there isn't one, quote unquote, right way to sort of have the conversation. Um, but it's for me, it's interesting because I think that, people buy NFTs in a bull market because they have that sort of heady bull market rush thing going on. I don't necessarily believe that that is a fully rational decision. And I say this as somebody who's bought a ton of extremely expensive NFTs personally. Um, but you have it. There's a different attitude in different markets. Flip side of that is the bear market, when everything is extremely repressed in terms of pricing. You have a very different feeling that people have, where people suddenly start coming out and saying, like, why are you charging for NFTs at all? NFTs should be completely free, because I personally don't feel like paying for an NFT, therefore it must be free. And you have this entire gamut between the two. But one of the things that I thought was really interesting, and this kind of dovetails a little bit into the conversation that one of the conversations that we were having at the Web3 Connect event, is the fact that the industry is changing and the industry is maturing and the users in the industry are changing and maturing. There's a point in time yesterday where I was up on the stage, and behind me there was we were doing the hackathon, and there was this whole thing that showed all of the judges of the hackathon and everyone who had contributed. So pictures of everyone from myself, Justin Sun, and everybody who is contributing to the hackathon in any way, shape, or form. And it was really interesting because 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, when I would do events like this, you'd go up there and you'd look at that picture of all of the people lined up with all of the names, and you would see 50% of them would be PFPs. Okay, so you'd see a bunch of apes, and you'd see a bunch of punks, and you'd see a bunch of doodles, and you'd see a bunch of, all sorts of random crap, right? But now, when you look at that entire wall of people, I only saw one PFP. And this is absolutely fantastic for me because I've joined this space as me. Okay, I've never used a cartoon as a PFP other than, hashtag Vox follow Vox, where I'll use, a Vox as a PFP. So I've never been the person to sort of hide behind a pseudonym, and it's really cool to see an entire wall of people, almost none of which are hiding behind that. And it shows that there's a great deal more maturity in the market. And I think that you're going to see this continue. And I think that you're going to see the business models around NFTs and things like that improve. And I think that if people understand the purchases that are made, an NFT is very different from a node. They serve very different functions. One of them is actually providing something for the ecosystem, and the other one is a thing that you play with. Um, and I think that as people understand this more, I think you're going to see people, getting more into the purchases of nodes that actually do the things that they want, that support their initiatives, such as like the rep nodes and things like that, and want to get rewarded for the growth of the ecosystem in that way. And then different ways that, different people purchasing NFTs, either because they use them themselves, or because they want to put them through what we term the entrepreneurial metagame, which is where they buy something that other people can then borrow and use. Um, okay, so that's that. Let me see here. Yeah, I've never seen the. I just saw the link to the headphones. I didn't even see that coming. Okay, let's see. What other questions do people have? Mixplick, yes, it is. It is happening right now. Okay, any leak on the next gala event? I mean, it depends on what you mean by gala event, like a gala verse or just gala event. There's going to be several gala events in Manila, ranging from dinners and community get-togethers to other stuff. There may be a gala event tonight in Singapore, that is a last-minute thing where we just reach out to the people who are in Singapore and say, "Hey guys, do you want to come get some sushi?" So that could be fun. I don't think you're going to see a Galaverse scale event for a while, because to be honest, it's not the right time in the market for it. If we were to do something like that, I think a lot of people would look at it and think ill of it. And in fact, even when we did, Galaverse 1 and 2, there was some element of that. I think that if we were to do it right now, basically, there's just better things that we could do that will better enhance and grow the community. Okay. Let me go back to YouTube and see what we got. Why isn't Gala spending more advertising through mainstream platforms such as YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or in-app ads? We are, actually. So that's definitely a thing that is happening. You're just not seeing it because we're testing things in specific markets. The way that advertising typically works is, rather than just, fire hosing, advertising dollars at something. And let me explain why we don't do this. We do very, very detailed tests in specific test markets to see, what works well. So if we were to look at, um, I'll just give you some Web 2 statistics here for a second. So if you were to look at some of those games like, oh, I don't. There's this zombie game that I see that's an ad all the time, right? It's like a zombie shelter sort of game where you have to like collect the vegetables and save the girl and shoot the zombies and, stuff like that. You look at a game like that, what the average developer is paying for user acquisition is over $20 per user, right? And it's a very simple math equation where it's like, if we bring in a user, will that user spend more than the cost to bring in the user? If yes, then it's worth it. But to bring people into a Web3 game, the cost of user acquisition, if we were to do it like just by throwing advertising money at the wall, is catastrophically high. Like, it's so high. And so this is why we tend not to do that, because we could, do massive advertising, excuse me, for something like spider tanks, right? But we would find doing that just across the board that the efficacy of that advertising would actually be extremely low. The cost would be extremely high, and it would, have a net negative effect on the entire game. So that's a really critical part of all of this. Um, and so what we do though is we find specific markets and specific niches that we can advertise in using these more traditional means of advertising, dial it in, and then we scale it out. So we're not trying to compete with sort of the absolutely red waters of, Web 2 advertising. And instead, we're advertising something that is very niche. The other thing that we can do, and this is a big thing, big part of what we're working on right now, is building out ecosystems that incentivize people to share. So, what you really want, the best way to do this at the end of the day, is to incentivize people to share and creating a viral experience that people really want to perpetuate and to bring their friends into. That's where you get the most growth out of it. Let's see here. Gilson would like to know if the project continues. Yes, see, Gilson, the project continues. Hello, Brisket Ninja. Nice to see you. Poker Go is crazy fun. How far is that game from full release? They're working on bits and pieces of that right now. There you go. Galen, by the way, is looking for guild and estate members. So check out Galen's Guild and Estates. And yes, Subspace says, sounds like the most growth is going to come from rep. There is going to be, in my mind, crazy growth coming from rep. So yeah. Transdomo, is there still a plan to get big time streamers for sponsored streams for gameplay? It depends on the specific game. We could totally do that, but the better way to do that, rather than, saying, hey, big time streamer, here's a check, talk about our game, is to build an incentive that instead says, hey guys, wouldn't it be really cool if you promoted this and then you got something out of it? So it's not us cutting them a check, it's them promoting to their community because it's in the best interest of themselves and in their community. That's the far better way to do this. And while it takes more time to dial this in, it is an infinitely better and more important thing that we do it that way than just throwing money at the wall. Smiling Monster says, sponsor your current streamers. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we do sponsor them occasionally for little things. That one's bit us in the ass a few times, though. I don't want to point any fingers, but yeah. Let's see. Warren is popping around there in the Gala Gold chat right now, talking about Town Crush. So that's a good thing. People would like to know if we are going to buy rep. That is a thing that is currently being discussed. Smiling Monster points out State of Survival. I think that is the one. This and that. Nice job pulling the zombie makeup, man. When I was in San Diego, I did some zombie makeup. I should do some makeup for one of these streams one day. I think that would be fun. Cool asks for soul-bound solutions for sharing incentives. Yes, I think so. And let me see here, popping back over to the YouTubes. Jason says, I sent you a DM in Discord regarding a bug. I will check that out. And let's see here. What do we got? I think that's most of the questions. Is Spider Tanks coming to mobile? The timeline for that would be determined by Game Media. So that's a them question. Subspace, I am not going to be a mime. That's not going to happen. And if you guys aren't yet a member of Gala Gold, you'll definitely want to check that out. Right now, I think it's $100 for a membership, and it's a lifetime membership. And at some point in time, this is going to switch over to a monthly thing. But if you have purchased it in advance, you will get it lifetime instead of the monthly thing. So if that's a thing that you're interested in and you always want to come into to Discord and be able to yell at people, that is a good place to do that. Although don't yell at people; it's not nice. We think of Discord kind of like our living room, and so if you come into our living room, come hang out, have fun. We'll pour you a drink, but if you start yelling and poop in the corner, you're going to be asked to leave. Anything in the pipeline for a gacha type game like Genshin, Honkai, Star Rail? I don't know those actually. Did you ever look at my proposal for Kickstarter pools? Yes, Migsy Foxy, I did, and I actually really like parts of your proposal. So there are things that are going to be discussed around that. Okay, let me see here. Oh, interesting. Okay. Thank you for that. I will make sure that it gets passed on. Oh, I'm pushing my screen around here. I keep forgetting that my camera's actually attached to it. My bad, guys. You get to see my messy, sad little hotel room here. Okay. Rusty Shackelford. It's nice to see you in here, man. Micro marketing over macro marketing, says Andrew W. Yes, that is correct. It's much better to dial things in and actually get it locked in and make it work than just throw money at the problem. Okay, guys. Well, I think I'm going to, given that I am here in Singapore and I need to get going for part of the day. Actually, let me answer a couple questions. Is Wright Thurston still a part of Gala? Wright has not been involved operationally in Gala for a long time. He used to come to a few meetings when I first started, and then would show up at events like those of you who were at Galaverse maybe saw him, but hasn't operationally been involved in Gala at all. As far as I know, he is still a major shareholder. He still has nodes, as you guys know, but that is the extent to which he is involved. Any other questions that people have? It is 8 a.m. in Singapore right now, Subspace. Yes, that is correct. Okay, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and button it up here. And, well, actually, I'll run out the clock until 8. Got another 8 minutes. We'll do it, guys. We'll do it just in case there's any other questions that anyone has. Don't want to. How is our leaky CEP doing? I don't know. What is the CEP? Oh, CEO. How's Benefactor doing? Benefactor's doing well. It's like, I guess, yeah, CEO. That does make more sense. Thank you, Paul. Paul was helping me with that one. So he's doing good. We were actually just talking this morning, and there's a lot of cool stuff going on that him and I are working together on. So he's doing quite well. Rich asks about nodes to NFTs. That is going to be happening here pretty soon. If you guys are paying attention to the Gala Explorer at gala.com, you will notice that there is now a nodes channel that has popped up, or at least it popped up for a little bit the other day. I don't know if it's still there, where they're doing some testing on that, doing the bridging back and forth and whatnot. So that's something that you will want to pay attention to, but that is coming very soon for the Townstar nodes. So those of you who have town nodes and just want to sell them to somebody and go away will be able to do so soon. And I think that there are going to be people who will be very happy to pick up your node from you and be very happy eventually that they did. Let's see here. Smiling Monster says the benefactor is the pizza guy. Yes, that is correct. Zorro Gala, what is my favorite dish in Singapore? They have one of the things that I really love about food is in Singapore is that Singapore is one of the most interesting sort of fusion areas of the world because of its history as, um, essentially a colony, okay, that brought in people from all over the region into this one hyper modern. Like if I look out the window here, it's just buildings as far as I can see, in every direction. Some of them are a lot taller than my building, but um, it's a very, very interesting multicultural place, and so they have really interesting twists on things. So, for example, there's a really well-known Portuguese egg tart that there's a Singaporean twist on this that is really good. And then I also like congee, because it's just like like the ideal perfect breakfast porridge is a rice soup. Um, so yeah, that's my favorite food in Singapore. Um, there's also some really cool noodles and stuff like that that are really good. But it's an interesting place. Singapore feels like it was designed by the United Federation of Planets because it's so incredibly like ultra modern and clean and polished, that it really has, especially if you go to some of the bigger areas, it really has that same feel. Um, let's see. Great Gala says, win NFTs to founders node owners. So you encourage us to experience every game and get feedbacks. Yeah, I mean, what? Win Bingo Beach update? I don't know anything about Bingo Beach. Are these, what is Bingo Beach? Is that a Ember game? Oh, okay. Yeah, there'll be updates about some of these games. They're not forgotten games. I just didn't know anything about Bingo Beach. Those are just Ember titles whether or not they actually come fully through, I don't know if that's going to happen. But yeah, that's a lot of those fall into that category. And let's see. From your vantage point, is Gala gaining any interest from non-Web3 game developers and studios? Yes, and this is for Baby Legs X. Absolutely, there's a tremendous amount of interest from non-Web3 developers and studios. Most of the studios that we're working with are non-Web3 studios. The interesting thing is that there's a very, very, very quickly increasing interest from Web3 developers and studios for coming over to build on GalaChain. I I absolutely cannot get away from people who are interested to come over and build on GalaChain and find out more about what we're doing, because I think that people are realizing that at scale, EVM doesn't really work all that well for massive scale. Um, and so, even with roll ups and things like that, people are recognizing like, okay, EVM's cool. It's very Web3, but we need something that's a little bit more robust and enterprise grade. And that's where GalaChain comes in. So I've had contacts yesterday with a lot of people who want to come over and build on GalaChain. So definitely always had interest from Web2 developers, and now we're beginning to get a lot of interest in Web3 developers as well. So I think that that's going to be a really important thing. And let's see, anything else? Can't wait for more info about GalaChain from Cool. Cool, I need to get you in here like as quickly as possible, because I think that that's going to be a cool thing, ha ha ha, for you to experiment with. So yeah, then I am going to go ahead and call it for today, guys. Thank you very much for coming and visiting our take 2 of episode 17 of Ahead of the Game. Apologize for the hiccups yesterday, and now I know that if I have to, I'm just going to go straight for the laptop camera, because it works. It's not as elegant, it's not as nice, but it does have the benefit of actually working, whereas this other thing did not. It has failed me, and I am displeased. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. This is Jason BitBender Brink, and this has been Ahead of the Game. BitBender out. See you guys on the flip side.